There's 1 o'clock. Okay. So welcome to our webinar, Why You Need a Cybersecurity Risk Assessment. My name is Tom Wyant. I am the co-founder and CEO of Wyant Computer Services, Wyant Technologies. We're in the middle of a rebrand, hopefully that will go through shortly. And today we're going to talk about why you need a cybersecurity risk assessment. There's a lot of stuff going on in your business you probably don't know about, and it's going to affect you because of the chances you'll be breached now are way higher than they used to be. So why are you here? You're a small business in the Traverse City, Northern Michigan area. You want to make sure you're protected against the rising cyber attacks on small businesses just like yours. You may already have an IT department and possibly cybersecurity insurance, but you're not sure if that's really enough. Cybersecurity insurance is an interesting point here because they're not real forthcoming with what you need to do in case of a breach. And part of that is because if you don't do it the way they want, then they don't have to pay your claim. So it's the future is going to be very interesting. The insurance companies have already gotten to the point where they are going to stop covering certain entities, and they're going to make it harder to get insurance. And rates have gone up. My rates have gone up about $2,500 in the last 3 to 4 years, which isn't horrible. I mean, we pay about $4,500 a year. I don't think that's horrible. I know people that are paying $10,000 and $20,000. And if you're not going to get covered, what's the point? Then again, it's way better to be safe. Who are we? So we have helped countless businesses throughout Northern Michigan over the last 20 years, and actually even Grand Rapids area. We have yet to have a managed client get breached. I have had a regular client get breached twice, and that was because of an employee they had. We'll touch on that a little bit later, but we are very security focused because the only way going forward is to be security focused in this industry. If we're not handling the security aspect of this, my clients aren't safe. The government, CISA, which is the governmental cybersecurity agency at the federal level, the head of CISA came out a couple months ago and said that companies like mine are going to be held accountable for breaches at companies like yours, even if you don't pay for security. So I really don't want to be sued because of the fact that somebody decided they didn't want to pay for security coverage. So we just won't take clients like that. But this is going to be really hard on a lot of companies like mine because they're going to take whatever they can get. And if you get breached and you're not paying for security, if you don't take it seriously, it's just a lose-lose for everybody involved. We have a team of 8 based out of Traverse City, currently going to add another tech. And we work with about 100 businesses in Northern Michigan. We work hardcore with about 30 of those. And when I say hardcore, they are fully managed. We take care of all the security, everything else. The other ones, we're still doing some break fix because we've been doing it for 20 years. The agenda. So today, you will understand when we're done with this, what a cybersecurity risk assessment is and why your company needs one now. Typical timelines, what to expect in the process, and what is the very next step to get your business covered and mitigate your cyber risk. And why should you listen to us? Cyber attacks happen every day, and we've seen them. I've got a slide in here later from the Health and Human Services Wall of Shame. Just search HHS Wall of Shame and sort by state and go to Michigan. Cyber attacks happen every day. There's no way around it. It's getting worse. I've had 2 clients that were breached. Neither one of them was fully managed. One of them I just did some infrastructure stuff, and then they had a full IT staff. They had a network admin, they had an IT director, they had an applications admin, and they still got nailed. So they had a full IT department and could not get away with it, or could not get around getting nailed. I had a client here in Traverse City that is, they have since sold, but they had an employee that would click on anything you sent them. And he encrypted the network twice, and we charged them thousands of dollars to fix that issue both times. So we've got experience in this area. We are on the leading edge of cybersecurity. So the whole part of this industry that's important is you've got to have a partner like us that knows how to lock down your network, how to train the employees. We can throw software on the PCs and laptops all day long, but if your employees don't know how to deal with this stuff, that's where everything kind of falls apart. We can stop most of what they're doing, but the employees are the weakest link in this whole equation. And we know how to work with the employees and how to train them so they know what not to click on. Social engineering is a big thing now. So somebody could fake their way right in your business. It's actually part of a external vulnerability assessment. They will come in and fake their way into your business. And most people, in my experience, because I worked in schools for years, if you look like you belong there, they are going to let you in. So you need to know what to look for. What is a cybersecurity risk assessment? So the cybersecurity risk assessment is what we do to show you where your risk is. You probably have files on your PC that you don't even think about that contain data that is worth money on the open black market for information. Especially if you're healthcare or financial, even if you're not, if you have wiring instructions, if you have bank account information, this information is worth something to somebody, and they're going to try to get at it. Just because you are a small business, or you could be a small business, does not mean you are not a target. You are actually an easier target than the big companies, because the big companies have started coming around to paying for security, and the small companies are all like, yeah, they don't even know where we are. It takes one email, and they've got your information, and they're in your network. So we help you identify and prioritize risks. We help you comply with regulations, HIPAA, FTC safeguards. One of our clients is a car dealership. We have a handful of clients that are financial. You have to have things in place for the FTC safeguards rule to ensure that you are secure. If you don't, you will most likely be fined by the FTC. We help you protect your assets. The software we use to protect all of the machines on your network and your network itself allows you to go home at night and sleep. There was a time where, with everything going on, where I wouldn't sleep very well just because of the fact that we didn't know what was going to happen next. Now we have, and this was years ago, but we have a plan in place to take care of everything, so both of us can be fairly confident that everything will be fine. And I say fairly confident because nothing is 100%. We'll do everything we can. Like I said, I have yet to have a managed client that has been breached. So I think we're doing pretty good, but you gotta cover your butt. And we help you improve efficiency. This is a big one. If you have to worry about your IT, or if somebody on your team is worrying about IT, they're not doing their job, unless they were hired for IT. But in my experience, most of the companies I work with do not have a dedicated IT person. So you've got somebody in the office that does IT work. And at some point, that becomes a bigger part of their daily work than their job. So we take over your IT. We become part of your team. The days of, hey, I have a problem, and us coming over are gone. We work together hand in hand to make sure everything's correct. We make sure that everything's running. We'll notice issues that we will fix without you even knowing it. And then we will schedule time to talk about, hey, how are things going? What do you have a problem with? And we'll send somebody over just to shadow your employees to make sure that everything's going well. If an employee's like, yeah, every time I do this, it causes a problem, we sit down with that employee and figure out what happened, figure out if there's a workaround or if they just have to do something a little differently, and fix the issue so they don't have to deal with it in the future. And that makes everybody more efficient. All right, the framework. So we have to protect the people, protect the processes, protect the technology, and protect the data. The people in this are the weakest link, period. The way that most hackers get into networks is via your employees. I was at a conference last week where Andre Edwards, who is an FBI agent out of Nashville, he spoke to us about cybercrime, cybersecurity. And he said it is much cheaper for the hackers to compromise one of your employees than it is to pay for the tools to compromise your network. If they can convince somebody with some cash or something, hey, run this program for me, and it's worth that person's while, maybe it's a large chunk of money, maybe it's $5,000, who knows what some people hold in value, they're in. So we need to protect the people first and then protect the rest of the network to make sure that you're safe. Okay, protecting the people. 90% of cybersecurity breaches are due to human error. So part of what we do, a big part of what we do is cyber security awareness training. There we go. Cybersecurity awareness training. That training teaches your users what to look for. So we need to teach them, is this a spam email? Was this phone call legitimate? Is this person legitimate? Does this person actually work for my IT support company? Which you would laugh, but there are people out there calling your company and saying, hey, I'm so-and-so from Microsoft, and I've noticed you've got a problem. I actually had a phone call from, it was a friend of mine the other day called or sent me a message and said, hey, Microsoft said I had a problem. They let me in, or they told me they had to get in my PC, and I let them into my PC. And I'm like, no, please say no. Please tell me you didn't do that. Microsoft will never call you to tell you you have a problem and they need to be in your PC. She got taken advantage of. I remember what it was. It was one of my friend's moms. So we need to teach the people how to control what's coming into their systems. We need to teach them how to recognize whether it's legitimate or not. So a big part of what we do is cybersecurity awareness training. Because the attacks are happening every day. I don't know if you can read this. This is a short list of companies in Michigan, and I put it up here because East Jordan Family Health Center is in this list. They were breached in 2021. Northern Eye Care Associates, 2022. Grayling Anesthesia Associates, 2022. Warner, Norcross, and Judd, big law firm, 2022. This stuff is happening all the time. And this right here, this small list is a 50th of the Health and Human Services Wall of Shame listing. So like I said earlier, HHS Wall of Shame, look at the list and you'll see exactly what's going on. And these people, the reason this is on the HHS Hall of Shame is because they are healthcare or healthcare adjacent. So it says Morley Companies, Alliance Physical Therapy Group, Warner, Norcross, and Judd. They are business associates. That has to do with HIPAA, so healthcare. The rest of them are healthcare providers. East Jordan Family Health Center is a healthcare provider. I didn't get it on here, but there's a local healthcare 11 office practice, Crystal Lake Clinic, maybe? I don't remember exactly, but they're based down in Benzonia, and they're right next to the Benzie-Leland District Health Department. They were nailed in 2020. I met with them in November of 2020. They were down for the entire month of September in 2020. And what do? You go back to paper. See if I can get this thing to scroll over. There we go. So protect the process. So we protect your network using software, your network and your PCs, using software that detects anomalies. That's probably the easiest way to say it. We work with a 24/7 security operations center. We have a 24/7 network operations center. We have advanced antivirus that reports to the security operations center. We do web and DNS filtering that filters out any bad sites you may go to. We have zero trust application management software that will not let you run software that is not approved. If somebody calls you up and says, hey, I need you to install this program because I noticed you have a virus and we're going to fix it, and you run the software, our software will stop it, and then you have to request a ticket. for us to look at it. And I was actually talking to a friend of mine about this. They had a client call them up and say, I need to run Log Me In because Microsoft called me to let me know that I have a virus and they want to fix it. And she called her IT department or her IT support people and said that. And they went, no, you don't. They connected to her PC and disconnected the Microsoft hacker right off the bat. It wasn't Microsoft. It was somebody claiming to be Microsoft. So we have software in place that watches your PC. We have software, we put software in place that watches your network. You may not notice something on your PC, and the antivirus may not catch something right away, but we may see something across the wire. So you may have an Internet of Things, IoT device that has been compromised on your network. And we have a sniffer on the network that will look for that traffic and say, hey, this device is doing something it shouldn't be doing. So we see what's going on. And the software that sniffs the network reports back to our 24/7 security operations center. So we make sure you're taken care of. You've got to do this to stay safe. We can get past people. So then you've got the second layer and try to keep the devices safe. Oh, technologies. So this goes back into what I was just talking about. 60% of small businesses will close within 6 months of a breach. So between the technology, which I already talked about, the process, which is how we teach everybody, keep everybody safe, what you got to do. We've got to ensure that everything on your network is secure. We've got to ensure that your people are trained to know what to look for. For example, one of the things we don't do is we don't give people administrative access to their PCs. They don't get it. All the software is installed. Their user account is set up. They can work fine. They don't need to do anything. If you give people administrative access to their PCs, there's a better chance that they will click on something that will get them breached. And the hackers know how to get around stuff because there are always vulnerabilities in Windows. If there isn't one today, they will probably find one in the next month or so, and then the hackers will use that to their advantage. And the thing with hackers is they're not in your network right now and they've got all your stuff. They're in your network for months. They will sit in your network for as long as they need to get what they need or to get around everything to the point where they've got enough data to sell. Or they take all your data and then they crypt everything you've got and they go, hey, we're gonna unencrypt your stuff for $100,000. And if you don't give us the money, we're gonna release it to the internet. And then if you've got any personal information, you may have lawsuits on your hand from the people who expected you to handle their privacy. And then data. So you've got to have encryption in place. Data at rest should be encrypted. Your laptops, any mobile devices should be encrypted. You don't want people to be able to steal a laptop. You don't want a laptop stolen, and then that laptop turned on and somebody's in, they've got the data. You need to make it hard for them. Encryption should be on the laptop. They're going to have a password, and they're going to have multi-factor authentication to get into the laptop. Without that, they can pull the hard drive, but the hard drive is useless because everything's encrypted. So they're done. They can't do anything with it. Password on the BIOS, the machine is useless to them. So we want to make sure that we make it as hard as possible to get to the data if they're not approved to do or to have access to it. And to give you an idea of what we're looking at, Jackson Schools, Jackson, Michigan, had a ransomware event in November, and they are still working on this. This is from April 25th. So this is the kind of stuff that happens. The schools are pretty big, so you got a lot of equipment to wipe. You've got a lot of servers to restore. Depending on your insurance or whether you have insurance, your insurance company, if you have a breach, if you have an incident, they may come in and take all of your equipment, and then you've got to go out and buy new equipment and restore all your data and try to make up what was lost. You you have to be prepared for that. You have to be prepared to basically say, okay, we're encrypted. Here's all of our stuff. Hopefully you have backups. If you have backups and you can restore, we can reinstall Office applications. Hopefully all the data is still around somewhere. If you're in 365, hopefully you've got stuff on your PCs mirrored to OneDrive. It makes it easier to get back, but it's going to be a huge financial pain in the butt if you are breached and somebody comes in, your insurance company comes in and says, or the incident response firm that works for your insurance company, if they come in and say, it's all mine, and they take all your PCs and servers. How long will it take? So what we do, it takes at worst a month. And I'm working on that. We have another tool I'm working on right now that I'm hoping it will speed up that process. Typically, from the time we agree on a cybersecurity risk assessment until the time we deliver the results, it is 3 to 4 weeks. And the reason for that is we install software on your network, your servers, your PCs. We look at all of your files. We look for personal information, personally identifiable information, PII. We look for PHI if you're healthcare. We look for bank account numbers. We look for routing numbers. We look for anything financial, social security numbers. We look for viruses. I mean, as much as you may love your antivirus software, too often we will install software on a PC and we will uncover stuff that the virus software, the antivirus software did not see. So we run a bunch of software on your network, on your PCs and your server to give us an idea of what's going on. And it takes time to do so correctly. The biggest one is we look at your email. So we run tests on your email. We will do a phishing test against your staff to see who will click on anything. We will keep track if they submit their credentials into the phishing email. I have had healthcare, a client that I went through this with a healthcare client. They're managed, but they're not fully security yet. And I did a phishing test on their staff, and one of the providers clicked and submitted credentials. We had a client that we had just taken over about a year and a half ago, where the owner, he submitted, this was not to us. We had just gotten them their email moved to 365, and we're talking like a day. Between the time we got them on 365 and the day we got them locked down, the owner gave away his credentials for his email. The only reason we knew about it is because we monitor that. And that's part of what we do during the CSRA. We actually monitor where the requests for your email are coming from, so we know if you're being attacked from India or Russia or Afghanistan or something like this. The owner of the company that gave away his information gave it away to somebody in India who logged into his mailbox, and it threw up a red flag, and we jumped in and shut him down. So in order to get the best information, it takes 3 to 4 weeks. I'm really hoping the new solution I've got will take much less time, because it is frustrating that it takes that long. But when we're done, you will see exactly what's on your PCs as far as files, financial information, patient health information, personally identifiable information, whether we find any viruses that you didn't know about, permissions. One of the things we see a lot is user accounts in Active Directory that have not been disabled, even though the employee is not there anymore. The Colonial Pipeline hack, which is where everybody was filling up trash bags with gasoline, that happened because an employee left the company and they never shut off his account. And then that employee had used his network password on websites. So he was using the same password on his websites when he had logins on the website, and he had his network. So they used that information somewhere in there. They got the VPN pre-shared key. They got into the network, and they just wormed their way through the network and encrypted everything. It happens way more often than you think. So here's the thing. Cybersecurity insurance is not going to cover you if you don't do things the way they want you to do. If your breach follow-up is not done exactly the way they want it done, they will deny your claim. And then you're paying, you're going to pay me. Incident response is not free. We don't cover incident response. If we have to have somebody come in and do incident response in your network, it could be $10,000+. It could be, 50. But not only that, but you may have to hire a breach coach. You may have to send press releases. You may have to offer credit monitoring for, everybody that was affected. So the price just goes up and up. And if the insurance company denies your claim, you're paying for that out of pocket. The insurance company wants things done a certain way. And I was having a conversation with a friend of mine about this. They may count a virus that was caught by your antivirus software as a breach. And if they go into your PCs after you've had a big breach and say, hey, we noticed over here in your log files that you had a breach back in September. What do you mean we had a breach in September? Well, this virus was caught and shut down. Why didn't you tell us about that? Well, it was caught and shut down. But that's a breach. Now we're not gonna pay your claim because you didn't tell us about it. So things have gotten interesting. You may think your current IT department has you covered. Most IT departments, and this isn't my experience, most IT departments do not have security software in place. It's never been part of the corporate IT mentality. It's gotten better over the last couple of years, but for the longest time, corporate IT never thought about it. They never did RMM tools. They never, they did some antivirus, but they're not doing managed detection response. They're not doing zero trust application management. It's getting there now, but they're still behind where we are, but we're there because the landscape is different. Okay, where do we go from here? You can try to do this all yourself, and I welcome you to do it. It's you can learn it. It will take you a while. You can try to do it all yourselves. You've got to find all the companies you've got to work with. You've got to find companies that will work with you. The big thing with this industry is that a lot of these companies are channel only. The companies that are not channel only are super expensive. And when I say channel only, I mean they sell to channel partners, and the channel partners work with you to do the security. So companies like SentinelOne, they are enterprise level, and they are super expensive. But we work with a company that brings SentinelOne down to the channel, and I can actually do 10 desktops instead of having to buy in at 1,000. So you can do it yourself, or you can partner with us. Or I mean, you can partner with anybody. I'd really prefer you partner with us because we know what we're doing. So this is what we do. We are a cybersecurity focused company. We've done this long enough that we see what's going on. We understand what's happening, and we have experience in this, and we can share with you to keep you safe. So we've seen the breaches from our side on our non-managed clients. We have industries or contacts in the industry that we talk to every day about what they're seeing and what's going on. We have the experience to do it. Here's what it's like working with us. So the days of I have a problem, can you come over and fix my problem, are gone. One of the things I really hated about break fix work, and I still hate about break fix work, is, hey, I'm having a problem, can you come over? Yeah, but we're booked like 3 weeks out. Well, I need you here now. But I have 25 clients who pay me, or 30, 25, 30 clients, whatever. I got a lot of clients who pay us monthly to take care of all of their stuff. And they come first. I want to take care of our clients. I want to make sure they are taken care of. I want them to feel like they can do their job without having to worry about what's going on. They don't worry about breaches. They don't worry about viruses. They don't worry about social engineering attacks. They don't worry about hackers sitting in their network for months at a time. That's what it's like working with us. We are your IT department. We become part of your team. You will get to know us. We see you fairly often. You may not hear things for a month, and then you may see us every day for 2 weeks based on what's going on. But that's just because of updates or training or new software. Our entire goal is to keep you out of IT so you can grow your business. So if you're ready to book your cyber strategy session, say that 3 times fast, there's a link right there, wyant.timesest.com/tom-wyant/discovery15. Hit that and book 15 minutes with me. We'll talk in Teams. And on the call, we're going to find out if we're a fit for you and if you are a fit for us. And I say that because everything's personality. You may not like us. You may not like me. We have to get along. We have to have shared goals. We have to have a shared vision on this thing. I want you to be successful. I want you to understand what the investment is in your IT, so you don't have a problem spending the money every month or looking at us and going, hey, nothing's happened in 6 months. Why am I paying you? Well, the reason you're paying me is because nothing's happened in 6 months, because we do that. That's what we do. We make sure nothing happens. So you may not be a fit for us. If you don't see the benefit or the value in spending money on IT security and support, we're not a fit. We don't do break fix anymore. We want to be all in, because what I've discovered over 20 years, I actually discovered this way earlier than this, but if we're doing break fix, then people are going, what's this invoice for? You called us and we came out and did something. Why did it take so long? Because it was this, and this. The notes are in the ticket. Let's sit down. You want me to get the tech on the phone? We can get the tech on the phone and talk about it. The way we do things is we are fixed fee, all in IT support. You pay one fee a month, every month. We take care of everything. We may do 10 hours worth of work one month. We may do 100 hours worth of work the next month. The whole point is that we take care of everything, and you don't get another invoice that you're not sure of. We bill by user. So if you have 10 users, you're going to be billed for 10 users. If you add a user, you're going to be billed for 11. If you lose one, you're going to be billed for 9. We are going to take care of everything you have, including your email licensing, all of the security software, all your backups. Everything's included in our fee. There will not be another fee. Doing it this way has made our lives way easier and made the clients way happier, because you're not getting unexpected invoices. If that sounds good to you, and you understand the importance of IT security, we will set up a discovery call to go over your infrastructure wants and desires as far as your computer network goes. I'm good. I'm not that good. So the first 15-minute call is to figure out if we're a fit, if we have a shared vision. The next call is to discuss what's going on. Talk to me about your network. Tell me what's going on. Tell me what the problems are. Tell me what keeps you up at night. Tell me what upsets you. And then we will discuss doing a cybersecurity risk assessment and moving on. So next step, hit the URL if you have any questions. Set up a discovery call. We can talk for 15 minutes and see where this goes, and go from there. Thank you very much.